I was drafted.
Alright, where were you living at the time?
I was living at home. I was just turned 18.
And, what was home?
Lindsborg.
Here in Lindsborg.
I lived on the farm. And I was working for McDonald's construction in Camp Phillips.
Why did you pick the service of the branch that you joined?
Well, I didn't think I wanted to roll in the dirt out there, and I always knew the Navy had better food.
Alright. Do you recall your first days in service?
Yes.
What was that like?
After we arrived in the camp, we went to Farragut, Idaho for boot training. And first thing they did was get us out on the compound and try to teach us to march and calisthenics and one thing or another.
What were you feeling? What did you feel during your first days of experience?
But I don't know what you mean.
What were you thinking during your first few days of experience?
In boot camp?
Yeah.
Well, it was not hard.
Wasn't very hard?
No, because I was in really good shape. And I know for some it was a little hard if they hadn't been out working and in good shape.
Tell me about the boot camp experience. I mean, like, what type of stuff did you do in the boot camp?
Well, mostly to learn to follow orders, I would say. They get you out and march and keep time with everybody. You do your daily calisthenics, go out on the rifle range and things like that. We did some canoeing on the lake. And then we had competition. I don't even remember what they called it now, but it was competition on the lake.
Do you remember who your instructors were?
No, I don't remember at all. Except I know the chief was Chief Madrigan. Otherwise, I don't remember.
What motivated you to get through the war and the boot camp?
To get through. Well, we thought it was just something we had to do. I don't know. Never gave it a second thought.
Which wars did you serve in?
I said World War II.
Where did you go?
Well, after we left Farragut, Idaho, I went to the University of Chicago to a school and took communications there, radio, signal, and I went to signal school. And we spent 3 months there, and then we were shipped out to California. We were at Riverside, California for about 3 weeks, and then we went to Australia. And I spent about 3 months in Australia. That was just like a vacation, really. But from then on, we were up in, we went to New Guinea, and I was in about 4 different places in New Guinea. It was just off the equator. It's hot, muggy, wet, rain. And later on, we went to the Philippine Islands. And then when the war was over, we were still in the Philippines, and we had our orders to go to Japan. But since the war was over, they canceled our orders. We came home in about 3 months.
Do you remember arriving and what your surroundings were like?
Where?
Around Australia and the Philippines.
Well, we arrived in Australia. We went through a terrific storm. We were on an auxiliary aircraft carrier on the way. And I never will forget that, because it was high winds. We had 40-foot swells, and they felt like they were almost going to lose the ship. We had to head right into the storm. We lost 14 airplanes off the flight deck. They were anchored with cables, and we just tore them up. But we arrived in Brisbane, Australia, and unloaded them. So that was one of the experiences.
What was your duty around there?
We were just waiting to be called to duty. It was an R&R base where we were, so we didn't really have anything to do. Just wait for further orders.
Did you see any combat?
No.
Tell me about a couple of the most memorable experiences that you've had. That you have before.
Well, that was one of them, that on this terrible storm, Others were just being shot at by Japanese in the jungles. We'd go out to the air base for supplies once in a while, and sometimes they picked off the truck drivers. That's when we were in New Guinea.
Were you ever a prisoner of war?
No.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
None other than the normal awards that we got. They were awarded in the Pacific Theater.
Did you stay in touch with your family? How?
Yeah, as much as we could. Sometimes the mail didn't go out even once a month or something. But we had V-mail, they called it. It was an envelope. You could write on it, and you fold it up, and it was free. You didn't have to buy postage stamps. So,
what was the food like?
Food was good. We never had any complaint. One time we ran out of food. We were, after we got to New Guinea, we were in port directors. So we directed shipping, and that's where our communications came in. We sometimes we couldn't use radio, so we used flashing light, and we learned to read code on flashing light, and we directed the ships in and out of harbors where we were, and what else? One time we did run out of food, or almost, and some guys caught some sea turtles. We had turtle soup.
Other than that, do you have plenty of supplies other than that one time?
Yeah.
Did you feel any pressure or stress?
Not really. No.
Did you do something special for good luck?
No, not that I know of.
How did people entertain themselves while on the ship during the war?
Well, we were always on the water, so we'd sometimes go swimming. We made stuff out of shell casings. We used to have P-38s, and we'd make them out of shell casings. We use a 90 millimeter for the base, and then we use a 30 caliber to make our airplanes. Just models, you know, stand on the stand, stuff like that. We'd play cards when we were off duty.
Do you recall any particular humorous or unusual events besides the storm?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything unusual.
Did you guys pull any pranks on anybody? What were some of them, if you did?
Not that I remember.
Do you have any photographs?
Oh, a few. They wouldn't allow us to have any cameras and take pictures, so we didn't have any pictures.
What do you think of What did you think of the officers, or just your fellow soldiers?
They were fine, but we didn't have no problems at all that I recall.
Did you keep a personal journal?
No.
While on the ship? Do you recall the day that service ended?
You mean when I was discharged? Well, not more than just getting mustered out. We were sent home after the war was over, and I had a 30-day leave, and then we were to go report to the U.S. Naval Training Station in Chicago at Green Bay, and we were mustered out, got our mustering out pay. And there was so many from everywhere that, we didn't know anybody. We just got mustered out, went back, and got on the train and went home.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterwards?
Well, for about 6 weeks, we didn't do a whole lot. Most of us got $20 a week for, what did they call that? It was kind of like unemployment. But I've forgotten what they call it. Anyway, they call it, 5220 Club is what they called it. You could draw it for a year. But after about 6 weeks, I got a job and I worked out at the lake here at Canopolis. I was the inspector on the field, building the dam. So
did you go back to school afterwards?
no.
Did you keep in touch with some of your friends?
Well, most of them were from back east, and the only one close by that we had in our unit was from Washington, Kansas, and I still see him occasionally.
Did you join any veterans organizations?
Yeah, I belong to the American Legion, and I belong to the VFW. That's the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
Well, I went on to, after I worked out at the lake, I came down here to the news record and I worked, and I learned to run the linotype, and I ran it for about 26 years, and then I was offset pressman after that. So I worked there for 46 years.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
I really don't know if it influenced it or not. I experienced it. I really wasn't in the war, as fighting, We were a non-combatant group. We were just part of it.
And what kind of activities does your poster association do?
Well, we have, we donate to a lot of different things in town. And like the college, we give scholarships to kids to go to Bethany College. The way we make our money is through bingo. We have bingo once a week. And we sponsor a baseball team in the summer.
Do you ever attend any reunions?
We haven't had any reunions.
how did your experiences in service affect your life?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because I've always been, since I was in the Navy, we've always belonged to a veterans organization, and probably that's been the most effect it's had on us because we've stuck with that. And wherever we go, we can go to a VFW club or anything. Otherwise, I don't know how.
Is there anything that you'd like to add that we haven't covered during the interview?
Well, being in the service gives you a feeling of patriotism, and it makes you proud. That's about all I'd have to say about it.